late breaking. This is WBAL TV 11 News.
Well, Brittany Spears has been in the headlines this week, testifying to have her conservatorship with her father come to an end. But what exactly is that, and guardianships? Joining us this morning to break it all down is attorney Elizabeth McInturff. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
I feel like we have two camps. One camp, the team and Free Brittany, that's been following this to a T. Another camp that either doesn't know anything about this or could care less. So can you give us sort of like a little bit of a synopsis of what's going on?
Yes, absolutely. Brittany Spears, 2000 icon. About a decade, 13 years ago, she's placed under a conservatorship in California, which does work a lot like Maryland guardianship, in which a court found that she was really in need of assistance and required somebody to manage her medical and health decisions as well as her financial affairs. Since then, there has been this whole Free Brittany movement where her and her fans seem to believe that she doesn't need a conservator anymore. And she certainly made a very eloquent statement to the court about that earlier this week about why she feels that she's progressed beyond the need of a conservator, at the very least not have her father be her conservator anymore.
And it sounds like from the different documentaries we've seen on this, and then from Brittany herself this week, that she is basically not allowed to make very many decisions at all for herself.
Many guardianships or conservatorships, as they're calling them in California, do make it so that your guardian or conservator makes the health, medical, and financial decisions on your behalf. Now, within that, there's kind of, a range or scope. Not everyone needs every decision made for them, but there are people who are not able to make any decisions for themselves. So in her case, it seems that the court has had a very strict guardianship or conservatorship placed over her, where she's not allowed to make any of those medical, health, or financial decisions for herself.
How long does a conservatorship normally last? Can it last for the lifetime of someone's life?
Well, in Maryland, they can, in the sense that they are supposed to last as long as a person has a qualifying disability. And that would be a disability or condition in which they are unable to make those decisions for themselves. Now, in some cases that may be permanent, but in other cases, if, let's say, somebody does suffer from like a mental health struggle, which it appears Brittany may be, they can actually graduate out of the program because they have been able to manage the disability or receive care of the disability such that they are able to make these decisions for themselves now.
So, just as an attorney following this case, what do you see happening here?
So that's a tough one. It's incredibly interesting. It's tough in the sense that while we have a lot of information, we also don't have that much information. She has certainly asked the court to end the conservatorship, or again, at the very least, remove her father as the conservator. If this was in Maryland, a person placed under guardianship does have the right to petition the court to reevaluate their circumstances, reevaluate their condition to see whether or not they should remain under a guardianship or a conservatorship, because they very well may have progressed to the point where they don't need that anymore, or don't need the strictness in which in a guardianship like hers is being administered.
So in that case here in Maryland, would a team of investigators be sent out to take a look at what your lifestyle is like now as compared to when the guardianship or the conservatorship first got put in place?
So in Maryland, the court does have a power to appoint an investigator. The court can also and does receive medical records. So your doctors would also submit a report, and they go down, quite a good checklist there, saying whether or not in their medical opinion, they believe that you need a guardianship.
Oh, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens with this whole case. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.